Today, I will be using a full team of Pokemon based on cryptids. Special thanks to Lennon for the team idea. If you have an idea for a Pokemon team, be sure to comment below, and I will use it. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. And now, without further ado, let's get right into the battles. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, lovely people. Today I am using a team of Pokemon based on cryptids. This is actually a really interesting idea. Now, this is a long recording, probably my longest video yet, so sit back and relax, and I have two battles to showcase for you, and this battle is absolutely nasty. Now, Dragapult is going to go for the Will-O-Wisp on my lead Slacking. That is normally a fair play, except that I'm running a Choice Specs Slacking turn 1, just get the KO on the Dragapult with a critical hit. Now, funnily enough, that actually did have a chance to just outright one-shot the Dragapult, but it was like a chance in my favor, so the critical hit definitely helped to boost the chances of me getting that KO. So that's a very spicy turn 1. Now, unfortunately, I got Curse Bodied and I have Truant, so I'm not going to stay in versus this Clodsire. So going into my Gyarados here for the Sea Serpent. Now, judging by the rest of their team, I thought that this Clodsire was definitely unaware. Otherwise, they had a lot of Pokemon that were very weak to water. Actually, sorry, it's probably Water Absorb, not unaware. So they're gonna go for the Toxic versus my Gyarados. This is a sweeping Gyarados. I wanted to try Gyarados because I'm the biggest hater of this Pokemon. I think it's like fallen off so hard in like recent generations. So I wanted to try to see how good I could do with it. I'm running a Clear Amulet on this to block Intimidate. And I have Dragon Dance, Terra Blast, Flying, Earthquake, and Waterfall. So in comes the Meowscarada on my Earthquake. It's not really going to do too much, but once again, I get another critical hit on the Meowscarada. Oh my goodness. So I thought this turn, well, they're not going to be able to threaten me much. At least that's what I was thinking. Like, they're going to go for the triple axle, and I was like, okay, well, if this is banned, this is going to do a lot, and it's doing a lot of damage. I was like, oh my goodness. Wow, I actually get 2 hits, though. It's actually double axle, not triple axle. Oh my goodness. The luck continues. So I'm going to get a Dragon Dance, a disgusting Dragon Dance on my part, by the way. So that's going to allow me to get an attack boost and a speed boost, of course. I'm going to get taken down by the Toxic next turn, but since the Meowscarada turned itself into an Ice type, I'm going to go for the Earthquake and take it out. I went for Earthquake just in case they went hard into their Water Absorb Clodsire. So I'm going to get that Moxie boost, even though it doesn't really matter just because I'm going to get hit by the poison, and I'm going to get taken out there. But, wow, that Gyarados actually did help a lot versus the Meowscarada, which is a pretty big threat to my team. I assume it was like Choice Banded. This was funny. It's a Volcarona. Now, I have this Abomasnow. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, Volcarona can easily threaten me with a fire move. This is a lost matchup. This is a bad, like, swapping, right? But I'm running a Choice Scarf Abomasnow with Rock Slide, and that just one-shots Volcarona. That was definitely not expected from their part. So this is a Choice Scarf Abomasnow. I'm running Rock Slide, Earthquake, Wood Hammer, and Ice Bitter. It actually gets some good surprise KOs. So into this really threatening Chi-Yu. Now, Chi-Yu is just a fish, but don't judge a book by its cover. This fish is deadly. So they're gonna be Terra Water on their Chi-Yu, and I'm just gonna go for the Rock Slide. Really, I didn't have any switches to this demon, so they're gonna go for the Dark Pulse, and that is absolutely going to take me out. Now, I really wasn't sure what item this Chi-Yu was, and I wasn't sure what nature it was, because it could either have been modest or timid. I'm going to swap in Axew here for the Chupacabra. I'm actually running a Focus Sash Axew, but since they set up the Stealth Rock, I had my Sash broken, so I thought, well, I might as well just get some quality chip damage with the first impression on this. So there goes my Axew there, but I'm running a Dragon Dance Axew. So into my Slitherwing for Mothman. This is the second time I'm using Mothman. If you watch my previous videos, I actually use a Slitherwing named Mothman in my Inscription team, which is a really good team. So Chi-Yu's going to swap out. I'm running a really interesting Slitherwing this time around. So I have the Booster Energy to boost my speed. And I'm actually running a Bug Buzz. This is a special Slitherwing. So Great Tusk was probably expecting like some kind of physical move, because obviously I got the speed boost so I could outspeed the Chi-Yu. I wasn't sure if Chi-Yu was running like Specs or something. I knew it wasn't Scarf because I outsped it with my Abomasnow. I'm going to get some really good Hurricane chip damage on the Great Tusk. This Pokemon gets access to Hurricane, which I assume my opponent didn't really know because they went for the bulk up versus me. What a crazy play. So it's going to be Leftovers Great Tusk too. So I was like, this is definitely more of a bulky one. So I'm really happy that I got a lot of chip damage. It wasn't enough to take it out with the Hurricane, but I'm going to take it out with the disrespectful Terra Blast. Now I'm running Terra Blast on this just because Slitherwing doesn't get any special fighting moves whatsoever. It doesn't. So I have Terrablast fighting on this just because I needed some kind of a special fighting stab on this Pokemon. The other moves that I had on this were Bug Buzz, Hurricane, Terrablast, and Heat Wave. This Pokemon also gets access to Heat Wave. Its special coverage is really interesting, even though its special attack isn't really that great. But I wanted to run I like running special sets on physical Pokemon and vice versa, like this Choice Spec Slacking here. Now, the Clodsire is going to go for the Recover, and I was like, okay, this is probably specially defensive. Actually, most certainly is specially defensive. And they revealed that they were Stealth Rock, Toxic, Yawn, and Recover. So they really couldn't do much. They actually didn't have Earthquake. So I was like, well, I'm going to see how much I could do with the Ice Beam versus this thing. And I get a Freeze on the Clodsire. Oh my goodness, what is happening this battle? So the Clodsire is going to stay a Frozen Iceberg. So I thought, well, obviously I'm on Truon. I don't want to stay in case the Chi-Yu swaps in, because Chi-Yu can obviously get like an Overheat or a Dark Pulse off versus my team. So this turn I swap out my Slacking here. So I was like, well, I could probably start setting up here with my Lapras here. Of course, I had to include Lapras on this team for the iconic Loch Ness Monster, although that nickname couldn't fit, so I just called her Nessie. So into the Chi-Yu, they're gonna swap out into their Chi-Yu. Now this turn I was like, well, I'm running a specially defensive Lapras, but I don't really want to stay in on this matchup just because I don't know what the Chi-Yu is running. If it's Overheat, then that could be beneficial for me because they could drop their special attack 2 stages. It's still gonna hit like an absolute trade, but I'm at least I'll be able to handle it better, hopefully. So I'm gonna get absolutely cooked by this Overheat here. And this turn I was like, well, I'm probably gonna swap back in my Lapras. I didn't really find the need for my Slitherwing anymore just because I didn't have my booster energy anymore, and it wasn't really going to be doing much to Clodsire and this Chi-Yu. Now, I had to be careful here because my Slacking, I figured, was probably going to get outstalled by the Clodsire in the end game because Truant is such a detrimental ability. So here I'm going to go for the Curse on the Clodsire swap in. Now, I'm running a Curse, Ice Shard, Rest, and Sleep Talk on this Lapras. Lapras? Oh my goodness. It's a fully specially defensive set. Curse helps me boost my defenses, and Ice Shard is a nice priority because it can also ignore the speed drops from Curse. So going for that Ice Shard, like I discerned, this Clodsire isn't unaware, so I'm able to do a lot of damage, and they thaw, but they go for the Toxic versus me. I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm running Rest on this, so I can always cure the poison later, and they didn't go for the Recover, which is really good. So this turn I thought, well, I don't know if they're going to swap into their Chi-Yu this turn, but I'm going to go for the Ice Shard and hopefully be able to take out the Clodsire. Ice Shard actually did a good amount of damage. I think it did like over a quarter or something. So going to go for that Ice Shard, and I actually take out the Clodsire with another critical hit. Like I said, I don't think it mattered that much just based on how much damage I did on the previous turn, but it's still crazy how many crits I'm getting this battle. Oh my goodness. Now, the last Pokemon is Chi-Yu. Now, this was scary because Chi-Yu, if it was timid, it actually speed ties with my Slacking. I figured it might take me out this turn, so I figured it might come down to a speed tie, which would be insane. So going for the Ice Shard, I get another Ice Shard critical hit. It does so much damage to Chi-Yu, and they miss Overheat. Oh my goodness. That was a nasty, nasty turn of events because even at -2, I think Slacking, a Chi-Yu would have taken out my Slacking, and I critical hit the Chi-Yu, which is actually going to be able to put it in range of my Ice Shard to take it out. Oh my goodness, I got so disgustingly lucky this game. But even then, I do still want to give some credit to myself just because of the fact that I had a lot of techs that ended up working out, like the Hurricane Slitherwing and the Choice Scarf Abomasnow mainly, right? So that was a really nasty game. I won't deny that I got very lucky, especially versus the Meowscarada. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and this game was also a really good game too. So I have a really bad lead matchup, unfortunately, into this Incineroar. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to use up my booster energy and swap out into my Gyarados. Now, I wasn't sure if this Incineroar was running a Will-O-Wisp versus me. That could have been really annoying, so I'm gonna go for the Waterfall and get a lot of good chip damage. But of course, it's gonna have its VGC berry, and it's gonna restore a lot of his health. So like I said, I was wondering if this Incineroar had a Will-O-Wisp, but they have Parting Shot. I have Clear Amulet to block the Parting Shot. Let's go. So they're gonna swap out their Incineroar hard now. Now this turn, I thought, well, I'm gonna go for the Dragon Dance here and set up my Gyarados. I'm running Jolly Nature on this and not Adamant. so my damage output isn't going to be looking like super fantastic. So in comes the Primarina. Now, Primarina is a very, very bulky Pokemon, so I was wondering, like, should I Terrasilize into a flying type here? Actually, I just realized I don't even think I Terrasilize in the first game. So I do some good chip damage versus the Primarina. Primarina is always a good Pokemon for me to take out, so I'm going to take out the Primarina there with the Earthquake. So that's a good bulky Pokemon to get out of the way. Now, looking back at this battle, I probably should have saved my Gyarados like for a bit later on in the game rather than using it up so early as a breaker. I feel like in a lot of the games I use Gyarados as like an early breaker rather than a late game cleaner or a sweeper. But that's just me thinking like after the fact, right? Like that's the purpose of these narrations, so that I can explain my thought process on why I did what I did. So they're actually going to Terrasilize their Solgaleo. They actually have a Solgaleo. Now, funnily enough, I don't think that Solgaleo is, even though it's a cover legendary, I don't think it's like super broken. Like, I don't think it's like super overpowered like a lot of other legendaries. Although, that could just be Joey conditioning my thought process. So, the Incineroar has Noble Roar, which is pretty unfortunate. I went for the, rather than going for the first impression, I went for the Dragon Dance on my Axew because I have my Focus Sash intact. So, I thought I could get like a good Dragon Dance Dragon Claw on this. I'm running Terra Steel on this Axew for the Chupacabra, and I have Dragon Claw, Iron Head, and First Impression. Now, the Chupacabra was a very interesting cryptid because there was like two descriptions that I saw. It was either like dog-like, or it was like based on like kind of like this like lizard-like creature. And like obviously there wasn't like a good Pokemon that fit either of those. So I thought Axew was like the best one that I could find personally, just because of the fact that it kind of does have that lizard-like quality with it being a dragon type and everything. Also, I had other cryptids. I looked through the entire like database of cryptids for this team, and one of the ones I was going to include just because I thought it was funny was the Mongolian Deathworm. I thought that was a pretty interesting cryptid. I was gonna put like Orthworm on this team, but I thought these 6 cryptids were like definitely like the most iconic ones, like the ones that people know about the most, like Bigfoot, and obviously like the Loch Ness Monster. Mothman is pretty popular. Like, I don't know why, but Mothman is extremely popular. I mean, Mothman does have like a pretty really good design. Did I just say pretty really? So I'm gonna swap in my Abomasnow versus the Annihilate. It's on a low amount of health, so I thought, well, probably gonna swap in their Incineroar. So I'm gonna go for that safe Earthquake. Unfortunately, the Intimidate drop is going to allow it to live pretty comfortably. I wasn't sure if this Incineroar was like more defensive or like more specially defensive. So I'm gonna swap out there. I didn't want to go. I didn't want to obviously leave this in versus a fire move. That would absolutely cook me. So into my Lapras, man. The snow defense boost helped me live that comfortably. So I think I couldn't really do much unless I set up my curses. But I figured that this Incineroar was more than likely going for the parting shot. So I thought, you know, not really any point in me like double swapping in this turn. Like, they're obviously going to go for the parting shot and get the switch initiative anyway. So I'm going to go for the curse on this turn. Now, in comes the Annihilate. Yeah, I was really scared of this Pokemon going for like a Drain Punch or like a fighting move to recover its health. So I'm not going to leave my Lapras here. And obviously I'm going to be taking a lot of damage from the Rage Fist, because it's at 150 base power because of my Axew getting like 2 Dragon Claws off versus it. So this turn I thought, well, I have my Slitherwing that I could swap into this Annihilate. I can at least resist the Drain Punch if they go versus it. And if they go for Rage Fist, oh my goodness. But like, I assume they're either going to go for the Drain Punch, or they might set up bulk ups versus me because I'm -1 attack because I'm got the parting shot off against the Incineroar. So they do bulk up. Now, this is nice. I was like, okay, well, I should be able to take out the Annihilate with the Hurricane. I haven't actually revealed any of my set yet, so I have like this special set, and it should be enough to take out the Annihilate at the range that it's at. But Hurricane decided not to hit the Annihilate, which is really, really, really unfortunate. So there goes my Slitherwing. Man, that was such a crucial KO they got, because I would have taken out the Annihilate, and I don't know, like, it's hard to discern. They probably would have swapped in their Incineroar after and threatened me with a Flare Blitz, but that really is really unfortunate, because now I'm forced to Terrasilize by slacking. My Abomasnow and my Lapras were really good matchups into this, especially since it's got a defense boost with bulk up. And I wasn't comfortable with Abomasnow one-shotting this Annihilate with Woodhammer. So I'm going to go for the Terra Ghost and take out the Annihilate. That was pretty much the only thing I had to take out this Pokemon, unfortunately. Like, if I didn't Terra, Choice Specs Shadow Ball wasn't gonna take out this Annihilate at all. Even if they Drain Punched on my Terra, you know, so they're gonna swap back into their Incineroar. Now, I was wondering if they was gonna go for the Parting Shot or what, but they go for the Darkest Lariat. So they're not Will-O-Wisp. They're just like fake out Darkest Lariat, Flare Blitz, and Parting Shot. Now, this turn I thought, well, I could go for the Curse and setup, but I kind of want to like restore my HP. There's still quite a handful of threatening Pokemon in the backwood that it really threatens me. So it was unfortunate because I really did want to terrestrialize this Lapras in particular. Like, I think the Terra Steel would have been really interesting in this matchup, although obviously like my Terra on my Gyarados was probably more. Just looking at their team, like I thought it would be more valuable, but unfortunately I let off badly in the elite matchup, so I don't know. So anyway, I just stumbled over my words there. Amazing. So Venusaur is gonna go for the Giga Drain on my Slacking. Now I do have Fire Blast on this, so I thought, well, I could threaten this a lot with my Fire Blast, but they're gonna swap out into their Incineroar. So I thought, okay, well, maybe they'll take this, maybe they won't. They already ate their Citrus Berry, so I don't have to worry about that. And Fire Blast actually takes out the Incineroar with a critical hit. Oh my goodness. So I think that mattered 100%. So there goes the Incineroar. Now, the last couple of Pokemon is the Solgaleo, which is on like less than half HP, and it's Terra Normal, and they have this Venusaur. Now, this turn I thought, well, I'm just gonna stay in, and they actually go for growth. They're setting up versus me. Oh my goodness. So I imagine they probably didn't expect me to stay in, so I'm gonna go for that Specs Fire Blast, and I just one-shot that Venusaur. That's a good KO. So that's nice. I got another KO with the Slacking, but unfortunately my Truant is gonna kick in, and their last Pokemon is Cinccino. This Pokemon was a big problem. So they're gonna go for that Tidy Up, obviously, since I'm on my Truant, and I assume they wouldn't go for Tidy Up again. They're probably just gonna take me out, although this was interesting because I didn't know what the Cinccino was running, because it could either be like Technician with like loaded dice and like the multi-hitting moves, or it could be Skill Link, and I don't know what item this is running, right? So they're gonna knock off my Choice Specs and take out my Slacking. Now into my Abomasnow. Now I wasn't sure if they had Rock Blast, and they do have Rock Blast, so I was like, oh, okay, well, shoot. Now I thought, you know, there is a chance, a small chance, but there is a chance that I actually live these Rock Blasts, and I could be able to get some massive damage with the Wood Hammer. But unfortunately, Rock Blast takes me out. I'm like, oh man, that's really unfortunate. Man, if only my Slitherwing landed a Hurricane. Now, into my Lapras, my final Pokemon now, I do have the defense boost from the snow. So I thought, well, I'm sleeping, but I do have Sleep Talk. If I get Sleep Talk and I get like Burst Boost and they miss Rock Blast, I have a chance, a small chance, but I have a chance of potentially coming back and like having this Lapras do some good damage with Ice Shard, right? So I'm gonna go for the Sleep Talk on my Lapras, and I get Rest. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Oh, I almost just choked just now. Oh my goodness. So Lapras is gonna get that Leftovers recovery now. There was a little time in the battle left anyway, so I thought, well, I might be able to take out this Cinccino if it keeps getting unlucky and missing Rock Blast like it did just now. So I thought, okay, well, if I get a Curse off, it could be really good. I could be bulkier and take out, maybe do some good damage versus the Cinccino, and I get Rest again. Oh my goodness, Lapras, why? So that's gonna be the end of this game. Like I said, I definitely should have brought in my Gyarados like earlier, and like rather than have it be like an early game cleaner, be late game. I think I just said that wrong. But in any case, I hope you all enjoyed these battles. I hope you enjoyed the overall Cryptid team. I thought this was a really clever idea. Probably one of the first Steam teams that I did that wasn't like the Prize Flag team or the Booster Pack team that was like a non-franchise team. So anyway, my name is SkyLaaa. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you all next time.